Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Money Minded. Today is Friday, May the 17th, 2024. Great to be with you here again on this platform. We're going to jump right into it. Once again, tonight we are going to talk about making sure we are planning for our retirement. Um, and the reason this struck interest to me, and I hope it can help someone else, is um, my company, Carol's Corporation, that I've worked for the last 38 years. It was sold, and we are now a partner with RBI, which is Restaurant Brand International. Anyway, so our first change, we closed yesterday, so we're now part of RBI today. So our first change was they are changing our 401k company, the company that we use. So it brought me into a lot of questions about being prepared for retirement, and things like that. So I said, I was going to take this opportunity to speak to you all about retirement on tonight. So one of the things that I've always thought, and I thought at a young age, is I need praise the Lord, Sister Laretha, how you doing? One of the first things that I always thought about was I need a certain amount of money to have till retire, how many years or whatnot, and you try to put, okay, I'm going to need $1 million, or I'm going to need $2 million, or we come up with this crazy number in our mind, of what we are going to need for, or what we want to have, I should say, for retirement. Okay, but that's not generally the case. Um, the case it the way you're going to figure out how much you're going to need is you would again take your what you're spending every month, okay, now, and say, okay, and when I retire, can I live off of that same amount of money? I need to have that same amount of money when I retire. Okay, so you want to say to yourself, what am I going to do? What do I need? I'm going to throw out an example for tonight. So if you bring home and you have $4,000 and you live on $4,000 a month, when you retire, you want to have that same amount of money. Okay, so again, we get into this thing of thinking, okay, we got to save $1 million and whatnot, but we really don't. You don't need that much money. And first of all, we don't know how long we're going to live, truth be told. Okay, but you do need some. So there's ways of trying to figure things out. And one thing, when I was doing my research, that I found here in the article, it says a common approach is the rule of four. So what it says is the guidelines suggest withholding 4% of your retirement savings in the first year of retirement and adjusting for inflation for each year after that. Okay, so as a suggestion, they always say when you start a retirement plan, some kind of 401k, whatever the case might be, you will always want to try to start off with 4% of your earning. And you also always want to do your retirement on pre-tax. You want them to take the money out before your salary is taxed. Okay, so here's the things you got to think of. All right, when you retire, a lot of people, you're thinking about your retirement. I'm going to live in retirement, but you also have another source of income. You could have, obviously, Social Security. You can have a pension if your job offers that, and then of course there is the traditional 401k or an IRA that people use for retirement. Okay, so you would want to keep up, say if you're getting close like myself, thinking about retirement. I got some years to go, but I'm thinking about it now. You want to keep up with how much are you going to be getting from Social Security. Okay, so you can go on to socialsecurity.com. The IRS, they also have some things, if you do your research, to tell you how much they would give you, you'll be receiving if you work to the age of retirement to get your full Social Security benefit. Okay, so we're going to stick to that $4,000 number. All right, so say you're $4,000, you've been working for years, you're really paid into it, and Social Security says, hey, if you work until you're 65 and it's your retirement age, we're going to give you $2,000 a month. Okay, so that's great. So all you need now is $2,000. more to live the way you are now in 2024. So I say you bring home $4,000. All right. When I retire, I want to make sure I keep the $4,000. You're only going to need two. Okay. So 2% of that you need to save. So the basic rule of thumb is to start off 4%. If that 4% is not enough, okay, of your earnings, then you want to increase that 401. You want to increase the percentage that you're saving. But keep in mind, you also have to throw in the factor that if you work for an employer, most employers, after a certain amount of time that you've been there, will match it or add to it, some kind of adding on. They're going to say, okay, well, if you work for me and you're 100% vested, I'm going to match a certain amount. Okay. I just found out with the new company that we're with, RBI, they're going to match us 4% of our savings. Okay. So I can't afford to put in more than 4%. That's okay, because if your company is going to match your 4, you're getting another 4% from them of what you're putting in. So you actually kind of double your savings. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So then if you add your 4% and their 4%, hopefully you'll have your $2,000 and you're all set. You're thinking, that's great. I got my $4,000. I got 2 from Social Security. I know I'm putting the 2,000 in my 401k, and I'm all set. Okay. Another source of income, it might be your pension. Our company does not offer pensions. Some of them do. That's another source of income. I know my mom and my dad used to get pension, but it wasn't that much that the company put it in or whatnot. But that could be another source. All right. The things that we don't think about is, here's the issue. We're in 2024, and I'm, for an example, it's just not me, but I'm just putting out there. 2024, and I'm like, okay, I have $4,000 and I'm living off every month. Okay. In 10 years, in 2034, is $4,000 a month going to be enough? No, because of inflation. What's going to happen? Everything's going to go up. Gas is going to go up. Your taxes might increase. Your groceries are going to increase. Your internet service, whatever you use is going to go up. Okay. So you want to think about inflation when you're rethinking about retiring. All right. So as this year, we're saying, okay, I'm going to put my 4% in. Next year, if they give you a raise, see if you can add another percent to it, because you always want to continue to increase how much you're dropping in your 401k for inflation. Do not forget about inflation. Okay. So you got to know the needs. Don't give yourself this crazy number. Okay. Because sometimes we don't make, I talked about SMART goals. We don't make goals realistic. And we think, okay, I want to have $1 million by the time I retire, but yeah, so you're doing that, you're chasing that number, and you get defeated and you may not ever get there. So you want to do something more realistic, as in you're saying, okay, well, I need to make sure that I put $2,000 a month away in my retirement. And I know I'm going to get, for me, 4% of that matched by my company. What is it that I need? So it's going to take some math. It's going to take a little bit of figuring out, but it is worth the investment in taking time to figure out what your needs are and what you're going to need in 10, 15, 20 years, or whatever you're going to retire. I use myself as an example, and Lord's willing, 10 more years and I'm out of there. If I can get out of there earlier, if I have enough, I will do that. But again, you got to realize with the Social Security, and people are living longer. I believe with my age, they want us to go to 55 or 65 or 67 to get full retirement. My goal is 65, even if it is 67. So when I do my math and figure out how much I need in my retirement, I got to know that I'm only going to get 80% or 70% from Social Security. I got to make up that other 30% until I get to 67, because I won't, be at the retirement age. For factors that go into this, don't just pick a number. Another reason I bring this up too is, again, I'm the district manager and I start employees off and they're starting a 401k. Oh, I just want, I can't afford it. and I'm going to put in 2%, or 3%. You're not really missing any that money yet because you haven't even gotten that first check. So I always try to encourage my managers to make that sacrifice now while you're younger. Get it started now, because you don't realize how it pays off. Another example I'll give you, I have a lot of managers. Obviously, we got to trade over. We're going from Empower to Myrtle and Lynch, and a lot of people are paying attention to what, and they're like, "Oh my God, I've been putting it in all these years, and that's all I got. I don't have any more in there. I thought I would have more than that. I've been putting such and such in there." Well, if you keep it the same, and if you're only putting 2 or 3% in there, okay, the company at that time was only matching us what we were putting in there. You're not going to make that much money, and it depends on how the stock market goes, if you're up or you're down. Okay, so the more that you can save is right off the bat, it's better for you, and it's best to do it at a young age. Even if you're getting in your career, college students, if you're graduating from college and you got a job and they offer you 401k, don't start with just 2% or 3%. Do that minimum 4%. Okay, so that way you can start for planning for your retirement. I know you have student loans. I know life is life in it. You got car payments. You're adulting now, and we know adulting isn't fun. You got rent and groceries and all these other bills and stuff like that too. But what happens is when we're young and we don't think about our end, our future, by the time we start thinking about it, okay, half of life is already over and you have nothing saved. All right. So very, very important. At least try to start with that 4%. All right. So then my question again, when I was talking to the financial advisor today was, all right, so I've been investing I've been a manager for the last I've had a 401k for the last 36 years. And I got this nest. Should I take that and roll it over into an IRA and then start the 401k just to invest that? And I also wanted to know what the interest rate was on that on that IRA, because I'm thinking if the interest rate was good enough, I would take what I have, roll it over into an IRA, and then I can earn more interest on that. So I'm trying to get more bang for my buck. Okay. So speaking to the financial advisor today, in my situation, that wouldn't be best for me. It would be best for me to keep rolling in the 401k, because I'm pretty financially okay where I am. And there's a lot of fees, which I didn't realize, that comes with certain IRAs. Okay. So when you get an IRA, it's not just sitting there and it's not just collecting interest. They're going to want to still invest some or all. Okay. So you'll be getting, and if you're not, if you're like myself, you're not very knowledgeable when it comes to stocks, bonds, CDs, that kind of thing, you got to be really careful. And then the financial advisors, a lot of the companies, banks, Bank of America, Empire, if you get into these things and you get these financial consultants, there is a charge. They will charge you for the advice. They will charge you to sometimes move your money here, there, and everywhere. Okay. So be careful, because I thought, okay, I had this great idea. I was going to do this and figured there was going to be another savings plan. Wrong answer. Okay. So I just rolled it over to the 401k. So you don't, yeah, that's right, Sister Larissa, nothing is free. They charge you for everything, okay? Even the advice they give you, there is a fee for it, all right? So make sure you do your homework, all right? Because there's an IRA and there's an IRA Roth too, all right? Not only that, he explained to me with an IRA, okay? Because it's not a retirement, your 401k is more like a pension, more like you're going to start drawing it out when you retire. With an IRA, when you start drawing that money out, there's fees. So they're charging you to take out your own money. I said, okay, make sense to me. And it didn't. I said, okay, thank you for explaining it. I'm just going to roll it over to a 401k. Okay. So make sure you do your homework, do your research. Don't just start an IRA and you don't find out all the backgrounds about it. Okay. You got to set your goal, realize what it is. What can you live off of when you retire? Okay, so figure it out. Don't give yourself a crazy number. Figure out what it is, then start putting money away, but keep in mind inflation. Okay. Um, Make sure you know what you need. Let's see, contribute to your, yep, I did all that. Okay, so then again, we talked about pensions. If your employer has pensions, okay, yes, Sister Aretha, Uncle Sam. That's the other thing too. When it comes to 401k, I'm glad you said that. If you withdraw your money, this is what's happening too in our company too. Some of these young ones are not thinking or whatever, and like, oh well, I'm just going to take what I have out and start a new one. Okay. Oh, I need that money. I can use that money. I can go on vacation or whatnot. Okay. What they don't realize is if you are 59 and a half or younger, they are going to charge you 20% higher in taxes on your money. Then there's a 10% penalty fee for taking it out for being under the age of 59 and a half. So you're giving 30% of what you have in there away instead of just rolling it over. So again, I'm trying to discourage people from doing that. So keep that in mind. We all get in a pinch. We all sometimes need some extra finance. If you don't have the money, this is why we're talking about paying yourself. We're talking about having a savings plan, money in your checking account. We talked last week about impulse spending that you don't want to do. You just don't want to go out and do these things and get yourself into financial debt. Okay, because you want to keep the nest egg that you have for your future. All right. Most 401k programs has the option that you can take out a loan if you need it, and a loan for hardship. It could be for college, paying down debt, credit card, whatever the case might be. The nice thing about doing that is that you're paying it back to yourself and there's no penalties in it. So you'd be better off trying to take out a 401k loan than to just cash it all out to get all the money out, because you're going to lose so much of it anyway. Okay. So make sure you do your homework on that as well. So if your employer offers pension, they have a pension, ask about it. Great. Get involved in it. This is another way to have some cushion, some extra money when you retire. Your pension can go towards the inflation part. So I'll give you an example. We'll go back to the $4,000 or whatnot. And if you're enjoying the pension, your company, when you retire, may give you $200 or $300 a month for a pension, depending on what you put in or however the pension works. Okay. That $200 or $300 can help you with inflation. All right. So I would like to think about, again, I'll use myself. When I retire, obviously, I know I'm not going to go out and buy a new car, and I'm not going to, make all these bills and whatnot and things like this, because of course you're retired at this point. All right. And you're not going to be having, earning extra here, extra there, whatever the case might be. So that extra $200 or $300 can be inflation, the inflation money for you, for the extra higher grocery bill, for the higher gas bill. Okay, so if they have it, get that in there. All right. Now, when you do get your 401k, consider getting to know some about investing. All right. This new company we're with, they have two financial advisors. Like I said earlier, I spoke with one today, and these come with it. They're included, so there's no fees. All right. So when we get finally transferred over, I will call them and say, okay, what stock and bonds are best for me to invest in? All right. So what I did was all my younger ages or whatever, most of the money that I was putting in, I put it all under the stock. As I'm older now, I'm being more conservative. I'm not going to be that high risk taker. So what does that mean? So that means my money, my retirement that I'm putting in, I'm not playing with it all in the stock market. I have a lot of it going to what's called a guarantee, like a savings account, basically. Okay, where that part is not being invested, but another part is, and you could do certain percentages, and then you can ask them to check it, or which companies are best to invest to invest in, which ones are making the most money, which getting me more bang for my buck, so you don't lose as much money as you would be. Okay. So again, do your research, do your homework, find out if these financial advisors can help you. I've also been looking up. There are some free courses that you can take online. They're informational, but they're minimal. Okay. They're only, so if you really want to know, you may have to, which I'm thinking about doing, going to take a couple classes on stocks, on bonds, on investing, so I can invest what's best, the money that I have for my future. Okay. And again, do your homework. Make sure when you have your 401k, like I said, some of them now, the younger ones are taking it out. When it's in there, don't touch it. You don't know it, pretend it. You don't see about it every day. You don't realize it's there. Leave it alone. Is it okay to go look at your portfolio? Absolutely. I have the app on my phone of my portfolio, my 401k. I see how it's going up or down. Occasionally, I look at it. It's great that you check it. We get a report every quarter how we're doing in our 401k. Yes, you want to pay attention to that, but what you don't want to do is go in there and touch it, like I said, and then pay all those fees and those taxes that you don't need to be. Because again, if you do that and you don't start all over for another year, if you get penalized or whatnot, by the time you get in your 50s, you're going to kick yourself and say, man, I wish I didn't do that when I was 20. I wish I invested more when I was 30. Okay. You got to just put it in there, leave it alone, stay away, don't ask. It's there. That's your retirement. Okay. Just pretend like it's not even there. All right. So we want to make sure that you're looking at that too. So these are what very important ways to plan for your retirement. You want to make sure that you get your pensions, your 401k. IRAs are good. I'm not saying that they're all bad, but you got to make sure it fits in for you. Okay. The company that we're using, the bank that we're using, the IRA doesn't work for me, but that doesn't say that I can't do my research and transfer it to a different IRA. And again, you can do whatever you want because it's your retirement. Do what's best for you, but make sure that it's stable. Okay. And keep in mind inflation. Don't forget, I can't stress it enough. Okay. Because 5 years, 5 years, I can say next year, groceries are going to be high. COVID did a lot to us, and it hurt us tremendously, and it put us back as tremendously. And now we're trying to catch up, and we're feeling it. And I feel bad for my grandchildren. If the Lord don't send the sun back, if God don't send the sun back, I feel bad for my grandchildren and them, because they're going to continue to pay for this over and over and over again. All the stimulus and things that went out that have happened, the money's got to come from somewhere. Okay. So we have really got to be money minded and make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. All right. So that you can live a happy, productive life. Know your goal. My goal for retirement is I want to live the same way that I'm living right now. I like to go on vacation. I like to take my trips. Right. I like to know that if I want something every once in a while, I can treat myself to something every once in a while. Okay. I don't ever want to go back to having to live paycheck to paycheck. So if that's my goal, then I need to plan for that. And that means to make sacrifices today. So for my future will be bright. My future will be good. I won't have to depend on someone or something, the government systems, whatnot, or things like that, to get what I want or the things that I need. All right. So you got to make sure you plan. Again, do your homework. There was an equation here. It says to it's called retirement number. It says take your desired annual income and divide it by that 0.04%. And that will tell you how much money that you should put out a week or every 2 weeks, however you get paid, what your percentage is to put it into your 401k. Okay. But please do your research, do your homework. Don't just minimize it. Don't just say, hey, I'm going to take I'm going to throw $20 in here, just to say it is. No, you don't want to do that, because down the road, and if the stock market goes the way it does, up and down, up and down, trust me, I got managers who've been around 20 years, and the things that they're coming to me and asking me or telling me about, I'm just shaking my head. And you really need to be a little bit more aggressive now and start putting some extra money in your 401k, so you can live the way you would like to live. All right. So I hope this information was helpful to you. Again, if you have any questions, if there's anything that you guys will want to discuss, please feel free to send me a message on this platform, message me or whatever. And I hope I can continue to be informational and helpful to you, so we can help you money minded. But I to do it is, amen, is to give God your tithe and your free will offering. He will open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you won't have room to receive. And that's why I'm a blessed woman today. Not just because I'm money minded. It's because I've always given to God first. All right. God bless you. We love you. Lord will, be with you again next Friday. Have a good night. Thank you.